Hello and welcome to BrookesTV News. I'm Isabel Baker.
And I'm JJ Creed.
The rate of knife crime in the UK is growing. I went to Langley where the South Central Ambulance Service were putting on an event as part of a campaign to spread awareness. Over the last 4 weeks, the South Central Ambulance Service has launched a campaign in an attempt to reduce knife crime across both Hampshire and Thames Valley areas. The 80% increase in knife crime incidents over the last decade has caused a shocking surge in knife-related homicides, with 2,500 deaths reported by the Home Office in 2023. The Slough Youth Council have worked closely with the ambulance service, organising a community event held in Langley to teach first aid to members of the public and help support communities which have been impacted. The South Central Ambulance Service has stated the highest levels of incidents within our area are in Oxfordshire and South East Hampshire, but there have been serious incidents across the whole region. A paramedic at the community event was able to share some of his thoughts on knife crime based on personal experience working with the ambulance service.
This particular event, run by Slough Borough Council and with their youth engagement team, provides basic life support, demonstrations and guidance. Slough Borough Council have got some bleed kits that are in Slough, so if you are a victim of a knife crime or if you're bleeding from as a result of knife crime, we can teach some of the younger people in our community how to respond.
The Langley event was largely supported by young volunteers who help support the community, mentioning how these initiatives are helping to equip young people with life-saving skills through first aid and encouraging a healthier lifestyle, such as learning how to cook nutritious meals.
We did like a knife crime event, and that had a really positive reaction in the community. Everyone wanted to get involved. It was really like inclusive and interesting for everyone. So we wanted to replicate that with like another event, talking about an important matter in the community, which is also like health.
We were able to hear the voice of one of the campaign organisers, who shared his advocacy for this event and hope that it will create positive change.
I think hopefully it's taken with, the seriousness it deserves to be taken with, because, especially for a lot of our young people in the area, we're in Langley, a lot of them are from Slough, knife crime is really rife. So it is important that as much as we want to put like preventative measures in place to begin with, they, in the unfortunate incident that they ever come across something like that, they know how best to deal with it. I think we see a lot of young people carrying because they see it as a form of defence, but truth be told, if you're carrying, there's always a level of intent, whether that is self-defence or whether that's actually an unfortunate case in which it can be switched and used on you. You are putting yourself in danger if you're carrying under any circumstance, full stop.
We hope these efforts continue to spread awareness and make a lasting impact. This is Isabel Baker reporting for BrookesTV.
Oxford has installed its first bleed control kits in a joint effort from the council, police, community to tackle preventable deaths as a result of uncontrolled bleeding. Chloe Kay reports.
In an emergency, every second counts. A person suffering from severe bleeding can lose their life in just 5 minutes. But now, Oxford is taking a major step in public safety by installing its first bleed control kits, giving bystanders the power to save lives. Across the UK, severe bleeding is one of the leading causes of preventable death in medical emergencies. With more kits set to be installed across Oxford, the city is taking a proactive approach to public safety, and awareness is key. But how exactly do these kits work, and why are they so important?
Immediate bleed control in emergency is really critical, time critical in fact, and the intervention of bleed kits and using bleed kits can absolutely save a life. Over my career, I've been in the ambulance service 20-25 years. The evolution of bleed kits has only been around in the public domain probably for about the last 5 or 6 years. Unfortunately, over my career, I have seen people that have suffered catastrophic hemorrhage and have unfortunately gone into cardiac arrest as a result of that. They're there for the eventuality that something should happen. It's always good to be prepared, and having these bleed kits is certainly an asset to the city.
These kits contain essential medical tools, such as tourniquets, bandages and gauze, designed to stop severe bleeding. They're placed in high-risk areas to assist in emergencies, from road accidents to knife crime incidents.
So we'll say that a tourniquet has arrived, so open it up from the packaging, and then just undo the Velcro strap and it will create a ring that you can pop around the limb. Take it above the joint from where the amputation has occurred and pull it nice and tight against the arm, and then pop the Velcro strap on. And then on the back here there is a little spindle which you turn to tighten up the tourniquet. Once that's been tightened up, it connects into a hook and we just pop that over there. You want to tighten it until the bleeding stops. Now this will inevitably be very painful for the patient, however, not doing it will lead to bleeding carrying on, hemorrhaging carrying on, and the person could end up dying. And then also on the back here you'll see that it says time. We just write down the time that the tourniquet was applied. Once it's been applied, the tourniquet is never released until we get into hospital.
But despite their importance, many people still remain unaware of where these kits are or how they even work.
Although I am in the medical field, maternity specifically, I wasn't aware of bleed kits.
No, I've never heard of them, no.
I think for me, I'm always for saving lives, so if something happens and there is something there that can stop it or kind of restrict it till the ambulance is there, it's always a good thing, you know?
These life-saving kits are now available in key locations across Oxford, and those behind the initiative hope they become as common as defibrillators in the public spaces. The kits are stored in a secure, bright red box, and they can be accessed in an emergency by calling 999 for a code. So with lives potentially hanging in the balance, these kits can make a huge difference. For more information on where to find them or how to use them, visit the South Central Ambulance Service website or controlthebleed.org.uk. Chloe Kay, BrookesTV News.
From the 1st of June 2025, it will be illegal for businesses to sell or supply disposable vapes. Is this the next move in the fight against the illegal sale and consumption of nicotine products? Arthur Lambert reports.
Across the country, concerns have risen about the persistent health challenges surrounding vaping. Colourful devices and flavours like mango and watermelon have captured the attention of teenagers nationwide. In the UK, the law prohibits the legal sale of vaping products to under 18s, but the enforcement remains challenging. The government pushes to ban disposable vapes, which will impact on the sale and distribution of these products to younger users. The UK Vaping Industry Association has maintained their position on the positive impacts of vaping, quoting, "Prohibitive policies that treat vaping in the same way as smoking simply continue to expose people to tobacco harm and run the risk of missing out on the massive public health prize represented by vaping." Looking at the age statistics of vape users in the UK, it is clear that the youth are using vapes as a way to get a nicotine rush rather than helping ex-smokers recover from their nicotine addictions. We've asked some students at Oxford Brookes for their opinion on the banning of vapes and the effects that vaping has on the youth today.
It's got a bit extreme now where there's so many different flavours and so many different variants, and I've even seen ones with like games on it.
No, I don't think people would switch to smoking purely because the feeling you get from vaping is totally different. There's more barriers to buying cigarettes than there is for vaping.
I mean, I get the health reasons behind banning vapes, and also I think it is generally a problem with young people, but at the same time, like we see with drugs, banning just sort of increases like interest, I guess.
Personally, I think it's quite a good thing really, because we're moving into a society where it's very normalised to vape. A big part of this new audience to vaping and smoking in general is definitely caused by this new branding behind it, where we see such colourful colours and interesting flavours really, kind of as if we're branding a sweet. I find that a lot of people between the age of 18 and 24 tend to be addicted to vaping. You see them waking up, walking into university with a vape. I find a lot of people would switch to heated tobacco, which is what I personally use, which is basically tobacco, which is not combustion, so it's not burned. It does not release a lot of the cancerous substances, but at the same time, it gives the hit of nicotine.
Oxfordshire County Council has issued guidance to help people spot breaches of the law after total seizures across the country reach 10,000. Are vapes more harmful than smoking? Can they be more harmful to adolescents? Only time will tell. Arthur Lambert, BrookesTV News.
Smokeless, loaded with nicotine and slipping into more pockets than ever. Nicotine pouches, are they as harmless as some believe?
With the help of Oxfordshire Trading Standards, Federico Squisato reports.
An alarming rise has occurred over the use of nicotine pouches, small sachets which users place on their gum. While some users suffered illnesses after using nicotine pouches,
I swapped to snus for the pouch tobacco and I didn't like it. For the reason because it really burns your gum.
many believe they're a safer alternative to smoking.
I'm not saying it's better, but it's a better alternative to something that causes you cancer. Unless it does cause you cancer later on, but I don't know if they know that yet.
The sachets are extremely accessible, being sold in most corner stores, but also online, where certain brands offer bulk deals and even free testers to first-time users. The rise of illicit versions of the product is even more concerning.
The products that we've been seizing most recently, more often than not, are not in English, or they don't have the importer or manufacturer's details of a UK company. So that is starting to fall foul of legislation like the General Product Safety Regulations, which says if a specific piece of safety legislation isn't in place, the General Product Safety Regulations will apply, and generally says the product's got to be safe. And one of the key factors around what makes a safe product is, can you use it safely? Do you have all the information you need to be able to use it safely? Safe instructions for use, for example. So here in Oxfordshire, we've been doing a project for several years now, tackling illegal tobacco. And we've regularly been doing inspections across the county and finding hidden stashes of illegal tobacco. And what we started to find that hidden within the illegal tobacco more often was nicotine pouches.
While the products state it's not to be consumed by users under 18, the branding presents colourful and inviting names, as if they were representing sweets. However, JTI and BAT, that are behind brands such as Nordic Spirit and Velo, said their products were only meant for over 18s and they welcomed stronger regulations.
Whether they're healthier than smoking or produced to attract a new target audience to nicotine, there's definitely a need for stronger regulations over the market of these products. Federico at BrookesTV News.
We'll be back shortly, where we will be discussing the ethical implications of AI in higher education.
We will also be looking at the increase in tuition fees and the closure of university courses. See you after the break. Welcome back. The integration of AI into classrooms has raised critical questions about the future of education.
Flynn Livingstone reports on how universities are navigating these ethical dilemmas.
From slate to blackboards to computer screens, technology has rapidly transformed the educational landscape. In recent years, AI tools have become increasingly embedded in academic life, from ChatGPT helping students write essays to sophisticated algorithms detecting plagiarism. While these technologies offer unprecedented opportunities for learning and research, they also raise profound ethical questions about fairness, privacy, and the very nature of education itself. Today we'll be exploring how AI is reshaping higher education, the ethical challenges it presents, and how universities are working to establish responsible guidelines for its use.
I think if you're using them to get background information, maybe get a better idea on some of the resources that might be available about it, I don't think that's academic dishonesty. I think if you're having it write your paper for you, absolutely.
I think if they're used correctly, it does help, but personally I just get scared that I'm going to get reported, so I don't really use them.
I'm not really a fan of AI. I think it's a lot of it is built on stolen data.
I don't think that without AI it's possible for the students to study at this level. These days AI have been evolving, and I think that's the best to adapt AI.
Personally, I think that if you adapt your teaching methods around AI, I think that it will just basically cause kids to learn less and think less critically, which means that everybody will always continue to talk about the greats of the old days, but nobody will ever surpass them again.
Arguably, students should be doing that thinking themselves. Well, they should be doing that thinking themselves, but I think ChatGPT can be an interesting help to get you started. What absolutely should be considered academic dishonesty is if a student gets ChatGPT or any of these things to write it for them. If we need to embrace new technology because the world is going to embrace this new technology. We are all embracing this new technology. Universities have to keep up with AI. We have to recognise that it's going to be making students' lives easier. It's going to make students, what we would say now is cut corners, but in probably 10 years' time, it will just be that's what we do. But now we're thinking of it as cutting corners.
AI in education isn't about automation, it's about augmentation, enhancing human capabilities rather than replacing them. When used thoughtfully, these tools can free up time for more meaningful interactions between students and faculty. Flynn Livingstone, BrookesTV News.
Oxford Brookes University has decided to cut many courses from their curriculum over the last 2 years.
But is this the right decision? I talked to students about their opinions on this growing issue. Oxford Brookes University welcomes thousands of students every year from all corners of the world. But for some of those courses, there will be no freshers packing their bags this autumn, as the university has decided to scrap many courses from next year. Many students at Oxford Brookes campaigned against the idea, but it wasn't enough, with courses such as maths, drama and music not taking on students from 2025. A previous statement from Oxford Brookes University states that the university is experiencing increasing financial challenges due to a range of external factors such as inflation. As a result, the university has taken the difficult decision to reduce staff posts in some specific academic areas and to make other cost savings across the university. In addition to the course closures, the university has made staff cuts on courses such as creative writing, film and architecture, with the university stating that redundancy is, and always will be, our last resort. I've been speaking to Nessie, a third-year drama student who gave her opinions on the closure of her course.
I wasn't surprised by it, but I think in the sort of last year or two, it's significantly reduced the number of pupils that have joined, and it's not that much of a shock to me and my course mates, just because of the fact that even in our year group when we joined there were about 15 of us, and it's significantly reduced to about 7 at the end of our first year.
In addition to staff cuts and closures, Harcourt Hill campus in Botley will be moving all teaching to Headington campus. I've been speaking to students from the Botley-based campus who have mixed opinions about this decision.
I think it's such a shame because it is such a lovely campus. There's so much like nature, and before we started there were other courses here. They've slowly taken them away, like religion and stuff like that. They've moved all to Headington or closed them. So I think it's such a shame that they are closing this campus.
I also think it's disappointing when the people making the decisions have never been to Harcourt Hill.
Yeah.
You go to people in Headington campus, they don't know we even exist. They don't know there's a whole entire campus here with multiple courses taking place here.
With the curtains drawing on many subjects, the future of all courses and jobs at Oxford Brookes is left unknown. JJ Creed, BrookesTV News.
The UK government has made the decision to increase tuition fees by 3%. Is this annual increase sustainable, and what impact will it have on students? Jack Turner reports.
Another day, another struggle in education. Oxford Brookes University is one of many universities that continues to be affected by inflation, but this time it's going further. As of September 2025, the cost of tuition fees will be going up by 3.1%. The university states that it was not an easy decision to make.
But it doesn't end there. The decision was already made after cutting courses such as maths and music, a decision that wasn't responded well by either staff or students, leaving them wondering, what's next?
In 2012, the previous government announced that it would raise the cap on tuition fees to £9,000 per year, but that was frozen to £9,250 since 2017. That will now change for domestic undergraduate students, bringing it to £9,535 per year.
I think it makes me feel quite unsettled, although I am moving on, but, I might, come back and do another, a PGCE or something more specific. And, it just makes me feel a bit unsettled, but also, for my friends as well.
With the negative reactions from students, one question remains. Is this Oxford Brookes' fault? Rio Barbaroka, Vice President of Education and Advocacy, doesn't believe so.
We need to lobby the government as much as possible to urge them to invest in higher education, because at the end of the day, if they don't, then what will end up happening is universities will keep increasing their tuition fees because the money will never be enough to sustain them long term.
For years, universities around the UK for domestic undergraduate students have not kept up with inflation, which is only making the impact of this even stronger.
Until next year arrives, the impact is yet to be clear, but what we do know is that it's not only causing a lot of anxiety to the students, but also a lot of doubt as to whether this will be the last time. This is Jack Turner, BrookesTV News.
Oxford Brookes University has stated its intentions to maintain its tuition fee at the maximum allowed limit.
60,000 streetlights in Oxfordshire are in danger of being switched off permanently. Is it worth reducing public safety to save money? Crystal Piggott reports.
Darkness is not far from you in Oxfordshire, and with it, a debate over our streetlights. A proposed plan suggests that thousands of streetlights are at risk of being turned off or moved to part-time. The County Council states that in doing this, it will save money and improve public health.
There are benefits to human health. Any amount of light at night disturbs your circadian rhythms. So those are the rhythms that pretty much every creature has around night and day.
Safety is a big concern among residents and believe that turning streetlights off will pose more threats to people's everyday lives.
If I was to ask a lot of people, I don't think they don't feel safe.
For sure not safe, because I walk along the canal as soon as the sun goes down, it can't see anything.
In the council's proposal, there are estimated to switch off over 60,000 streetlights in and around Oxfordshire. Other parties, such as the Labour Party, have opposed this plan.
The County Council has announced that we'll be reviewing about dimming these turning off all streetlights, and that they would need to have public support. So you can read more on the BBC website. But I believe that without consultation from the public, this must not go ahead.
If this concerns you, go to www.change.org/keep Oxford streetlights on at night to get your voice heard. The future of Oxfordshire's streetlights now rests in the hands of its residents. Will the County Council embrace the doubt to save money, or will it stay on? Crystal Piggott, BrookesTV News.
Street art has sparked debate in Oxford for years, but in Cowley it's become a part of the area's identity.
Chanel Kadzira takes a look at how these murals have reshaped the community.
There was a time in Oxford when public art was seen as nothing more than vandalism, and it often caused a strain between the council and members of the street art community. That tension came to a peak when locally acclaimed graffiti artist Charlie Silver was arrested. This caused a nearly 400% spike in cases for 2015 as compared to the previous 2 years. Council board member John Tanner tells the BBC in a 2016 news article, "There is still too much graffiti in too many places, and it's costing the taxpayer a lot of money." In a March 2017 scrutiny report, a free wall scheme is proposed for the street artists. Currently, there has been a decline in online attention towards graffiti crimes. It could imply the effectiveness of the free wall scheme. We took to Cowley Road to hear from the locals about their feelings on the art around them.
I've been walking past this every day for years. I don't remember how long, so I kind of take it for granted really now. Cowley Road has always been a sort of alternative side of Oxford.
I'm pleasantly surprised actually, because it's really interesting and vibrant, and I know Cowley Road has a lot of character already, and it just kind of adds to that. It reminds me a lot of Camden in London.
I practically walk everywhere, so I do actually not notice the change. It's different, I'm sure for the artist it's very expressive, and it's a chance to actually, put their talent into work and make somebody's life marginally better.
One of the locals shared his opinion on the free wall scheme.
I like the idea of always trying to find compromise, but also I don't like the idea of, if there's anything behind it that means there's kind of squashing people's freedom of expression and ultimately doing harmless things of, they're not writing offensive stuff, it's genuine art, graffiti artists are artists, so I guess that's as much as I can say on it.
The art on Cowley Road continues to be an ever-evolving canvas that tells the story of Oxford's history. Chanel Kadzira, BrookesTV News.
That's it for this week. If you would like to see more, please check out the BrookesTV YouTube playlist.
See you next time.
Goodbye.